So this Yamaha is almost 20 years old now. So we're getting up there in age. It's probably time to change. Again, humidity hasn't been any problem on electronics out here. It is enclosed. I do keep the door closed, so it hasn't been an issue. No water gets in here. Then I keep microfiber towels here. This is where I keep 20. So I have my microfiber packages. These are the Rag Company towels, Microfiber Madness pads. So I generally keep half a dozen mitts. So I have 6 mitts and 6 pads. And then I always have an extra lambskin mitt out here to grab. And I have 20 of each towel. So 6 of the big drying towels, some of my old Beater Griot's garage towels, but I have 20 of each towel, and I usually have a pile of towels that I'm testing. So I have 20 of each. So my recommendation, if you have your garage, is that you'd have 2 of my complete packages. Maybe we need to create an ultimate package, which is just the whole microfiber thing. I like to have extra because I throw my towels on top of my little air compressor here. I should probably create a better system for that. And I throw the towels there when I'm done, and I wait till I pile up and I carry them back to the house to wash them. I do have a little Ingersoll Rand little pancake compressor here. I don't need a lot of air. If I need to do anything of significance with an air compressor, I go back over to HQ where I have the giant Jenny compressor. But in here, what I simply do, I put an outlet down here. I'll just plug it in and I have a 35-foot or a 50-foot Prevost Stowflex hose that I'll just plug in. I actually modified this and put some Prevost, their S1 couplers, and then I'll just run out. The only time I really use it is to fill up tires, if I needed to top off tires out here. So that's the setup here, and then I have I guess a 40-gallon Brute garbage can where I keep the garbage stuff here, and then my beloved IK foamer I've kept in here for now. The last part of the audio setup is a JL E-Sub. This is a E112 single 12-inch woofer. I sit on this thing all the time, so it's kind of scratched up, but this thing's pretty sweet. Nice. So audio out here is actually pretty darn decent. We have quality equipment, and this is plenty of amplitude. I can hear this all the way back at the house if I turn it up. So I haven't found the need to put any outdoor speakers outside. So since we're down here, let's talk about flooring. Now this is a case study for you. So we're 3 years in. I'm not lying to you here. I literally have not vacuumed this one time. And remember, it's bug crazy out here. I'm constantly tracking dirt because there's always leaves and stuff sitting outside. Every time I come out here to work, I blow the leaves out of the concrete area, but I never have to do anything here. If we pulled up one of these tiles, there's piles of dirt. But remember, it's 3/4 of an inch thick. You would need a whole lot of bugs and a whole lot of dirt. You'd need a wheelbarrow full of dirt in here to see it. So I found the need to, and there's little pieces of dust and bugs and things like that. I usually just throw stuff on the floor. There's all kinds of wire strippings and pieces of wire underneath here. But it's clean. It looks clean all the time. And now I don't drive on this tile, but I'm telling you, this is 3 years of bugs and guts and dirt and debris, and we don't have, it looks clean. Like, it looks good. Now, I'm probably going to pull it all out and pressure wash it at some point when I repaint the walls and everything. But in general, this looks fantastic. So since we don't drive in here, I do have the ability. These are all rubber tracks up to this point where I have these cabinets here. Just this section is sitting on top of the actual plastic rib tracks. So the concept was to have rubber where I walk. And so when I'm standing here, and you can tell there's a difference between standing on the plastic tiles and the rubber tiles. And so all the black in here, with the exception of what's underneath these 2 side cabinets, is all rubber, which as long as you're not driving on, I would highly recommend. The rubber matches perfectly the black plastic tiles. If you had an area where your tires might end up or you're doing something heavy, you would want to do the regular plastic tiles. They only make it in black, but I did a rubber tracks walkway in here, which I'm really pleased with, and I recommend in every garage that I design for anybody. So again, this is a good case study for how much dirt this can stand. And I'm telling you, I'm out in the middle of the woods. It's oak tree city, and I'll show you the top of my my choke and my car capsule out there in a minute. It gets pretty gnarly out here from a dirt and bug and leaf perspective. Yes, we don't have salt. Yes, we don't have cinders, but we get probably more dirt than other places of the country. Certainly more bugs than anywhere else on the planet, it seems. So the flooring has turned out great, and you can see it. I mean, we're not doctoring this. It looks, I think it looks fantastic. So my buckets, the infamous expensive Matty buckets, I always store here. What I'm going to do in 2.0, I'm going to create some sort of casing for the windows. This gets beat up because I'm always setting stuff on the windowsill. Even something as simple as putting cultured marble, I could do that. What I'll probably do is have a piece cut that matches the countertops that we end up doing, and do some sort of casing around at least the base of the window. But you can see, you know, bugs build up. I clean this off, you know, once every 6 months or so. So now let's get into the pressure washer. This is, I would call this my baby. This is a K165 STS. This headed me down a higher end path of pressure washing. Of course, I had my the complete Krenza solution that I have now in the store, the portable solution, the K1122. But I wanted something more stout for out here, and I was looking at like Cam Sprayer and I forget what that company. There's another company that starts with a K. There is there's dozens and dozens. I looked at building my own cat pump, but I kept coming back to this. Now this was at the time, this was $44.95. So it's $4,500. They were hard to get. But I wanted this stainless enclosure. Unfortunately, they don't make this anymore. The backstory is there was a family that was in partnership with Krenza for years that built the enclosure. Krenza did the pump. I guess they had a falling out, and so now the new version of this pump would be the KWS 700 TS. Now the new version is 3.3 gallons per minute. This is 2.8. So I have this on a dedicated 30 amp. You probably don't need that much. A dedicated 25 would be fine. But I ran 4-core, I forget what that wire is called, 10 gauge hefty wire direct to the panel box. And this does 2000 PSI, 2.8 GPM. So this does 2000 PSI, 2800 GPM. I'm dumbing this down. I'll show you outside to about 975, 950 PSI at somewhere. We'll see, probably somewhere around 3 gallons per minute. I haven't actually tested this one like I have the others. One of the problems with this machine is it's loud in comparison to like the little portable machines, like really loud. So if I were to do this again, I would probably build a little room or build a box or build an enclosure. I wanted to see it. We have copper Pro Press fittings. I would probably also do this in stainless, like my friend Nick out in Colorado is taking this to the next level with multiple valves. And we're probably going to have to at some point come up with a more stout solution. I love the look, the fit and finish of CR Spotless. This is a DIW20, which I have in my store. It does okay. I'm at the limit of this being able to keep up with the flow of this machine. So I would like something a little bit more stout. But again, my water isn't terrible out here. I only really use this for rinsing, and I use it, it probably doesn't take, I probably don't get 0 parts per million using this hefty pressure washer, but it does work. And I largely get spot free, but I always dry anyway, the drying process. The way that this is run, and this is the way I recommend anybody do this, instead of hard plumbing the outlet, I'm going to have, when I have my painters come, I'm going to have them, I cut the hole a little bit too big here. And I've been saying I'm going to fix this for years, but I have basically a 3-inch conduit running up through the wall. You want to just run flexible pressure washer hose that you could pull and replace. I think that's a better way to do it. That's what most pressure washer companies recommend, rather than doing this with a hard plumb line that eventually will shake loose. The high pressure line, I have a 50-foot hose running up the wall through a conduit, over through the attic, and then into the boom pole directly. So when we're doing that in any garage that I design, and I can help you with that, that's what I always structure and how I always set it up. So this is set up to be valved to be able to switch between regular water and DI water. So I can turn, right now the DI is open and on, so if I close the DI and open the regular water flow, normally I'd wash that way and then I'd rinse by shutting off the regular water flow and turning on DI specifically. It only takes a few seconds for it to cycle through the lines. You don't have a lot of water in a 50-foot high pressure hose. So this machine, again, this machine versus the new machine, it's a lot prettier, but it doesn't have total stop. So this one runs for 30 seconds before it turns off. The new machine, the KWS, has a pressure switch. It does 3.3 gallons per minute and 3,000 PSI. That machine is quite a bit more stout than this. It's I think $3,200 or $3,500 now, which I sell a lot of them. It doesn't look as pretty as this, but it turns off, which is really, really nice, and has more output. So one of those machines with this DI tank is really tricky. It works, but again, we're pushing the limit. So shelving, I've always had this vision for, I like to have, although we have these cabinets that are half empty, I like to have my bottles and sprayers and extra gallons on the shelf. And if you remember way back, I had the Griots bottle holders, and I even had the original Griots gallon holders. And I had this huge array of every matching bottle. In the beginning, it was all Griots, and then as I found new stuff, I would stack it. And what I found was I ended up dealing with a lot more companies, a lot of different products, and a lot of stuff doesn't fit in the Griots type of shelving. And so when I built the wash bay, I had a vision for doing stainless. And so I had to go find a company where I could get a clean looking, because there's a lot of different stainless companies, and a lot of them do this for restaurants. But I just didn't like, I'd ordered a bunch of them. This got really expensive because stainless is expensive. And so I probably bought, I don't know, maybe 8 or 9 different types of shelves from all over the place, from really expensive to kind of medium expensive. And I found this company that now I represent and sell these shelves in whatever size you want. These are 30, I think this is my preferred size. Yeah, 32. So these are 8 by 32, which is my favorite size because it will hold a gallon this way nicely. Now the CarPro gallons are a little bit bigger, but it'll hold a gallon nicely. And then you could, if you wanted to, you could stack, 2 bottles back to back. So 8 inches is the size that I like. I'm experimenting with trying to figure out what I'm gonna do for bottles. I like my new Press-All black bottles the best. The problem is I sold them all to you, so I gotta order some more of them. We're having issues with the tip, so if I can get the tip figured out, I'm working with them to try to figure out what's going on with the tip separating. And then Ryan and Bryce are working on labels. So for now, I grabbed the blue bottles and wrote on them of what I have. But my longer term goal is to be able to have amazing stainless shelves with all matching Obsessed Garage specific bottles that you could take whatever product you're interested in, whatever product I'm interested in, and we can put them in a matching array of gallons and bottles. And then hopefully someday I can convince all these companies to let me bottle this stuff with their great products. So that's the longer term vision. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so I have 10 shelves Here's the other setup here. So I have 10 of these, and I keep various products on here. These are the products that I use. I actually literally just I filled up my entire trunk from top to bottom with stuff, products that I've tested. I hold on to a lot of stuff at times, but again, I have this two-month rule. Like I'm not using Optimum APC, I'm using the D101 now. And so why am I holding on to this APC that I'm never going to use again? Why am I holding on to Optimum's glass cleaner? Why am I holding on to what else did I throw away? Adam's detail spray. I don't even use detail spray. I had 3 gallons of it, and so I got rid of all of that stuff and got just the products that I use. This here, my friend Larry Cosilla sent me this. I actually like the KXK holders much more. I'm going to wait till I repaint here, but I'm going to do probably 3 KXK racks here to hold a 21, a 15, and the 3-inch. But I don't know. I like to look at my polishers on the wall. I don't know. It's something that because I'm an enthusiast, I'm not a detailing professional. I like to look at my expensive machines. Because I end up looking at them a lot more than I end up using them. So if I'm going to have them, I want to put them on the wall. This is a Mark II, so I'm going to swap to all Mark III machines. I should probably sell all of my Mark II stuff. I also need to get the ES, the original line, which is still current. I need to get that in the store as well. So last couple of things in the room here, you don't realize how much is in here until you start talking about it, are the Air King fans. These are the 24-inch version. I'm also going to probably look at carrying these, depending on when you're watching this in the future. Hopefully I'm a dealer for Air King. I've probably sold more Air King fans than any other non-dealer in the world. These fans are really, really great. I have them set up on a switch. So on the back wall here, I hit the switch. I have them set up articulating so that you can set them up fixed. There's 3 speeds. I have them at max speed, articulating, and you can adjust the pattern, how much of an angle they go. Now you want to make sure if you do buy Air King fans that you get the quiet version, because even the quiet version isn't so quiet. Well, I'll turn them on and stand back and show you operation here. So again, I have these set up at maximum speed. I have a lav mic on me, which is pretty sensitive. I don't know what the decibel rating is here, but it is considerably louder. But this, even when it's 100 degrees out here, I can stand out here and relax. The only problem is I'm shooting video a lot of time and can't turn them on unless you want to hear that annoying breeze the whole time. I thought about putting them outside as well, which I may still do. Another set of them, but these fans are incredible. They move some air. If you turn the speed down to 50%, it is quite a bit quieter. I leave them at max output. It really moves the air, pushes the hot air out of here. It's just really great fans. And then I'd recommend you put a switch so that you can just turn them off without having to mess with pulling a strap on them. Last thing I'm going to do in here, I'm going to do some sort of under cabinet lighting, and I'm going to do some sort of backsplash as well when I figure out the countertops. I'd like to kind of do that because you can see I'm kind of beating up. There's a little stress crack here that I don't like to see. I want to have a backsplash where this is nice and clean. So version 2.0 of the inside of this here is going to be repainted, just a fresh coat of paint, same color, fixing up the baseboards, just doing a cleanup of the Swiss tracks, which I've never done, and then backsplash countertop and cameras out here is what we'll be doing out here in this area.